Hey everybody, this is Nancy. Welcome back. And today I want to get into more predictive astrology with you and show you a little bit about what a solar return chart is and how to interpret it. Before we get started, I just want to say that my puppy Ringo is sleeping next to me and he snores. So if you hear snoring going on, it's just him. I'll show you a picture of him. He's adorable. So a solar return chart is different than your natal chart. And your natal chart is the snapshot of the heavens at the moment you were born. It's your fundamental blueprint. A solar return is what we call our annual birthday chart. It's the moment every year when the sun returns to the place that it was at the time of your birth, and it's an annual update of the movement of the energies in your chart. So you should get one done every year. So we pull a solar return chart to give us an idea of where we need to be focused in the next 12 months. And this reading is good for only 1 year. And we're trying to look for the themes. Now, the solar returns are not meant to be a standalone reading. It's important that you compare it against your natal chart to determine the direction of certain areas of your life. It's a really important predictive tool. So my friend Melissa had a birthday over this past weekend, so I'm going to be using her charts as an example, and I'm using her natal chart first. So this is her natal chart. As you can see, she's in Aries. Her ascendant is in the sign of Sagittarius and her moon is in Taurus. So she's got a lot going on in Taurus. And this is her natal snapshot of all the energies that she was born into. This is who she is. It's her blueprint. Now, here's her solar return chart for 2023. You'll notice that her sun is right back where it was at the time of her birth, but her moon and her ascendant are in different signs now. And some, not all, but some of her planets are in different houses and signs. So let's look for the themes that Melissa should be aware of in 2023. So first things first, her ascendant is now in the sign of Libra. Libra is the diplomat of the zodiac. So Melissa's going to be called on to bring more balance and peace when it comes to dealing with certain areas of her life this year. Next, let's find the chart ruler. Her ascendant is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So Venus is her chart ruler for this year. Venus is not only about love and beauty, but it's also about bringing abundance into your life. And this is very beautiful for Melissa. So next, we want to look for the houses that Venus is located in, both in the solar return chart and in her natal chart, because these houses are going to be activated this year. In her natal chart, Venus is in the 5th house, where fun and enjoyment are created. So the 5th house also represents the first child. So there could be a lot going on with Melissa's first child this year. The solar return house with Venus is in the 8th house. And this is what I refer to as the house of everything behind closed doors. It's the house of inheritance, investments, wills. And since Venus is sitting in this house in her solar return chart for 2023, there could be a windfall here. So you can also see that Pluto is making a trine to Venus, which symbolizes change, symbolizes a transformation. So I know that everybody gets kind of upset when they see Pluto making an aspect to a planet, but this is a good aspect, and Venus is in its domicile, meaning that it's in a sign where it belongs. It feels good in Taurus. It belongs in Taurus. So I think that this is going to be some good news coming in. So you can also see a lot of planets going on in the 8th house. So we've got Venus in there. We have that circle with the X going through it, which is called the part of fortune. That's in there. I'm going to explain to you what that is in a minute. And then we have Uranus in there. So you can see how Uranus is making an opposition to Melissa's moon down in Scorpio in the second house. Uranus is all about change. It's about unexpected change. And this indicates that there may be a move happening. So someone is either moving in or moving out, or she will move her home or her workplace, or it could be that she's letting go of something. She's letting go of a treasure, or that there's going to be a changing of hands, something that's valuable. There's going to be a changing of hands or location. And also the moon is in its fall here in Scorpio, meaning that it's weak here in Scorpio. So this change is going to be an emotional one for Melissa. Now let's take a look at her solar return sun. So notice how it's sitting right on top of the solar return descendant. This is a big, big deal. And Jupiter and Chiron are also conjunct that descendant. That's huge. Anytime you have a planet sitting on top of an angle like that, especially something as important as the sun, it means that it's going to be a major theme in the coming year. And the angles are the ascendant descendant line and the MC-IC lines. So the medium Colli and the Imam Colli. So anytime you see something that's right on those angles, that's big news coming. So the descendant is the cusp of the 7th house of marriage, contracts, and relationships. So there's going to be a big focus on this area in Melissa's life in 2023. Lots of good fortune coming in with Jupiter, healing with Chiron, big events. So let's talk about this part of fortune thing, that circle with the X going through it. So part of fortune is something that's often overlooked in astrology, and it represents where your worldly success can be accessed. So the energy of the part of fortune is increased when it sits in a sign ruled by a benefic planet, which it does in this case because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So the part of fortune right here in the 8th house in Taurus means that wealth and abundance is accumulated through the help of others this year, either through investments and inheritance. And I'm going to be honest, it feels like she's going to be inheriting something of value in the next year or so. I hope I'm right about this. The part of fortune in the 8th house in Taurus not only means wealth and abundance, but it also means that when you receive it, you truly appreciate it when it comes to you. You're grateful for it and you don't take it for granted. Okay. So one more thing that I'd like to add here about wealth in this chart, in the solar return chart, any planet that makes either a sextile aspect or a trine aspect to the cusp of the 2nd house, which is the house of income, that planet will provide a line of assistance to finances and resources. So it's a good thing. And it'll do this both privately and cooperatively. And you can see that Mars is making a trine to Melissa's 2nd house cusp, and it's also making a sextile to the 8th house cusp. Okay, so this is all good stuff. Okay, so let's talk about some blocks that we want to look for in the solar return reading. So you want to overlay the return chart on top of your natal chart, and you want to look for where the solar return 12th house is. This is the part of your natal chart that will be temporarily out of reach this year, or the year that you pull your chart. It's sort of like being in exile. In Melissa's chart, it falls on her 10th house of career. During this time, during this period, her 10th house of career will kind of be out of reach. Now, the ruler of her 10th house is Virgo. So what this means is that she either needs to withhold certain details when it comes to her career or her public image, or she needs to find certain details because they're not obvious to her. Another thing to look for in the charts are intercepted houses. This is when a zodiac sign is completely encapsulated inside of a house. So in other words, if you notice that you have 3 zodiac signs in one section in one house, the middle zodiac sign is actually in its own house and it's being intercepted. So here's an example of another chart, because Melissa doesn't have any intercepted houses in either natal or return charts. So again, what I'm showing you is not Melissa's chart. So an intercepted house means that there's a challenge accessing that house. The key word here is challenge. So in a solar return chart, you want to pay attention to the 6th and 12th houses that access, because if they're intercepted, especially within the 1st and 7th houses of the self and the other, this is a clue that there may be a health issue or hospitalization coming. And this, of course, has to be supported by other signs and predictive tools like the lunations and the progressions and the lunar returns. Okay, so you want to be looking out for that. All right, so this is what I have for you right now. If you found this information to be helpful, please like and subscribe. And we will be posting more information on predictive astrology tools that you can use. Okay, so have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon.